Well, that's different. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Sunday Night Live. And I had a little boomeritis going on. I tried to set up a scheduled stream and just haven't figured it out. So the stream's starting now. Hello, how you doing? Good afternoon, Zombie Teddy, Diesel Dave, Sean DW, Della Hayes. Check your logic. Welcome to the afternoon show. I'm just doing this. I was gonna do some experimenting with boomeritis. Yeah, I was experimenting with some things, and I was gonna try to. I'm still trying to figure out how to integrate Google Hangouts into this. I think I figured it out, but being self-taught, sometimes you just end up you end up figuring out things in ways that you just never knew could happen. So still haven't quite figured that out. And but so I thought, what the heck? I didn't really do now we did do a stream Friday, but it was obviously on the road for those of you who were here. And we unfortunately we were there for the NCAA basketball tournament, Division III. My son's team was playing in the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, we lost on Friday night, so rather than doing a Saturday morning stream, we were driving back, and we had a few cocktails the night before, so Lady Boomer was sleeping, so rather than doing a stream while she was trying to sleep, I chose to just we listened to videos on the way home, and poof, here we are. So we're gonna get caught up a little bit today, and it's gonna be kind of random, and I'm gonna be spending some time talking to you guys in the chat, guys and gals. So that's how it's gonna go. So if you want to make this a little more fun, you can always right down there click that little share arrow, or if you're on a phone, you got to turn it up. Get rid of the chat for a second, hit the share. We can put it out on Twitter, I suppose, also. Hello, Sarah. Welcome. And I was earlier today, I was just watching a couple other people's streams. And I thought, yeah, what the hell? We'll just do my own. So, hi there. How you doing? Good to see you. So, I don't have a plan today. I was going to look at some Twitter trends because there's a couple on here that I thought were interesting, and we're just gonna kind of go randomly about. There were some headlines from Monday, from Friday too, that I missed, and this was interesting. I don't know if you were, we talked a little bit about the House resolution that they put together, because my now she's not my district in Minnesota, but she is from Minnesota, Ilham Omar, and I know the pun Ilham Omar, but she made some statements that some people didn't like. Now let me before I even get into this too deep, so she made some statements that some people consider anti-Semitic, and there were some what considered anti-Semitic tropes, so to speak, but I'm really concerned, even though I do have no I don't agree with this woman at all politically, and I think what she said was in poor taste, poorly thought out, not really realizing what she was saying. But I'm having a hard time with the idea that Congress is going to make a resolution based on what this woman said. What she said, I think personally, in my own personal opinion, is reprehensible. I do not tolerate anti-Semitism. But do I think she should be censored, not censured, but censored for what she said? And I'm struggling with that because I'm one of those free speech guys. And, hey, I would rather know that she has anti-Semitic feelings and thoughts. And so, there you go. I mean, she, like you said, she is Muslim. She knew what she was saying. And damn it, Chadwick, how you doing? Is that a new Chadwick? Is that's got to be Chadwick Dupree? Well, anyway, welcome, damn it, Chadwick. And so now there's another part of this that annoys me. So this resolution was supposed to be talking about what she was saying, and unfortunately, the resolution became a treasure trove of other things. So I want to go through that a little bit today. But it's just just something funny about it though. Was watching how the Democrats have handled this and what some of the things they say. So, now if it were a Republican saying these things, obviously this would be the most anti-Semitic person, and they should be taken off all their committees, and they should be, pulled out of, public life because they said something anti-Semitic. But when it's a young black Muslim woman saying some of these same things, well, now she needs to be protected. And that's kind of what the Democrats spent their whole time with this thing going. And so interesting, James Clyburn, I can't remember where he's from, but he's in the House. And it's just interesting how he described... Well, I'm pulling this up because this is how The Hill described what Clyburn said. Clyburn came to Omar's defense Wednesday, lamenting that many of the media reports surrounding the recent controversy have omitted mentioning that Omar, who was born in Somalia, had to flee the country to escape violence and spent 4 years in a Kenyan refugee camp before coming to the United States. Her experience, Clyburn argued, is much more empirical and powerful than that of people who are generations removed from the Holocaust, Japanese internment camps during World War II, and other violent episodes that have marked history. In case one suspects that this is an uncharitable paraphrase, here's what Clyburn said right after. He's, quote, "I'm serious about that. There are people who tell me, well, my parents are Holocaust survivors. My parents did this. It's more personal with her," Clyburn said. "I've talked to her, and I can tell you she's living through a lot of pain." So this is from the Ace of Spades. So Mr. Clyburn, Omar has provably lied to become a citizen, a deportable offense, I believe, has ties to actual terrorist organizations that have slaughtered more non-Muslims than you've had hot meals, and is adherent to a belief that whose central tenets are the subjugation or liquidation of non-believers, and ironically has ancestors who were running the African slave trade that no doubt brought your ancestors here against her will. For you to smear the blessed memory of my mother, her family, and the thousands who survived literal hell on earth created by your political kissing cousins in the NSDAP, S for socialist, I don't know what the hell that means, by trying to foist this utter bilge about Omar on us is despicable to the extreme. Now, let's see. Well, she's legal to be here. Yeah, she is. Somehow there's some story that I haven't quite figured this out because I haven't gone into it. Some people are saying that in order to be here legally, she married her own brother and somehow got here. I don't know. There was some kind of fraud or something. I don't know if that story is true or not. Let's see. Sierra, still can't figure out how her and her ex-husband / brother aren't in jail. They committed fraud. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should look that up. I don't know the entire story. So anyway, this is who wrote this? J.J. Sefton, who happens to be Jewish. His mother was a Holocaust survivor. So he continues. It is one of the great political tragedies and sad ironies that American Jews, the one group of people in this country that did more than any other to help elevate American blacks and liberate them from the party and political movement that had enslaved them, i.e. Democrats, persecuted them, annihilated them in the womb, and relegated them to misery with the exception of one day every 2 years, are now treated with a degree of enmity and hatred by black political and pseudo-religious leaders that far exceeds virtually any other ethnic or other group. But today's American Jews, mostly on the left, of course, regard themselves as neither American nor Jew. So there's that. In any case, this is what you get when one of the two mainstream American political parties and their agitprop media flunkies go on diatribes against the 1% East Coast bankers, etc., etc. Geez, the notion of the CIA inventing crack to annihilate black youth is still treated as gospel, thanks to Maxine Waters. I'm surprised she didn't amend that to say that the Mossad created it in a lab in Tel Aviv. And of course, the moldering and decomposing Helen Thomas tells the Jews to get the hell out of Israel and go back to Poland, presumably to be gassed in a reconstituted Birkenau. Meh, I'm raving now. I hope Blexit is for real. We need it and a Jew exit before they all wind up burned. Anyway, that's JJ Sefton. He's a pretty funny reader. Oh, wait, he has an update. Since Mr. Kleiber dismisses the pain and suffering endured by the people who are still living among us, his statement seems to obviate the need for us to pay reparations to black Americans, none of who are alive today who were once in chain. Thanks for that clarification, sir. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, no, I know, that's, there, I don't know, there are some that do that. Anyway. So, let's go back a little bit, and we're going to just, I want to check out what's going on Twitter, because there's been some interesting stuff going on, you know? Hey, thanks, Sarah, for putting out the stream there. Have I even renamed this thing yet? It probably still says Dawg Knight. Did I save it? I don't know. Studying that live. Random thoughts. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's check out what's going on Twitter, because like I said, today is kind of a random day. I do have some headlines I want to run through, but let's check out. Now, again, whenever the first thing trending on Twitter has something to do with, everyone else in the world calls it football, but I'll call it soccer. I wish I were more of a fan sometimes, but apparently Arsenal is trending today, and I'm not even going to click the hashtag because I don't... my sports are basketball, and I occasionally watch our own version of football, and then I like some of the other more odd out sports. So if there's a ski racing on TV, I'll watch it because I think it's kind of cool. Or every once in a while, I watch a NASCAR race for about 10 minutes, and then I'll watch the last 10 minutes because. Well, the first 10 minutes often looks like the last 10 minutes, but I actually enjoyed watching auto racing sometime. And I kind of enjoy, more than track racing. I like the kind of off-road rally racing. It's fun to watch just to see the skill of the drivers, you know. I mean, there's skill in the drivers no matter what kind of racing it is, but the guys who run those, road rally ones are really, really fascinate me. But anyway, I digress. I only watch my kids play. Chadwick says, I only watch my kids play soccer. I don't have enough time in my day to sit there and watch other people play on TV. Yeah, I have a hard time watching, full sporting events unless it's live, and usually if my son is involved. And he's played his last. Wow, dude, it just dawned on me. I guess it dawned on me before, but my son just played his last college basketball game. That's going to be his last organized sport for either my kids since my daughter started playing basketball when she was 5. We were going to the Y camps where she was learning to play basketball. Wow, that's a long time. Let's see, roughly the last 17, 18 years we've been watching our kids play sports, and that's the last event. So now we can just go and we're actually, my wife and I have decided, Lady Boomer, for those of you who already know her, we are going to continue, probably go to his school's games just because we've made so many friends among the parents and the kids who are playing, the underclassmen are playing. We feel like we have a connection to them, and a lot of the alumni parents get together once a year. So we'll still go to those games. But anyway, I do definitely prefer live sporting events. Okay, number 2 trending on Twitter as I ramble on. Daylight savings time. Well, you know what? It messes people up. It's going to be weird because when I go to sleep tonight, or it won't be light still, but As daylight saving times kicks in, some people are lamenting the loss of 1 hour sleep. Well, at least it happens on the weekend when you're not really, not a lot of people are, unless you're getting up to go to church on Sunday, you still get it, you get to make up for it, unless you work on Sunday. I always hated that when, when I used to work in the restaurant business, and so, obviously restaurants and bars are open on Sunday, and there'd always be that jackass who'd come in at the wrong time during daylight savings time, and you just like, you know what? It's not like we haven't been telling you about all week. It's not like it's not all over the news. Whatever. Thoughts from the dryer. Hey, hello. You're new. Welcome. I'm going to be Islamophobic now. I don't trust Ilhan or Talibi. Think that they will get some Sharia laws passed and not enough Republicans to stop them. Let's remember right now who runs the Senate. You can't pass laws without the Senate or the president. So I'm not so worried about that. Interesting, though, when I don't know if you've seen, there's a YouTube channel called Mr. Reagan. And he did an interesting video the other day about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and how she became a congressperson. We might actually go through that video because it's really interesting, and there's some points I want to make on that. But now, Ilham Omar, it's about the Justice Democrats. It's an organization started by Cenk Uygur, and how they got Alexandria Cortez elected, and they it's an interesting video. We may watch that a little bit later. All right, enough of daylight savings time because there's nothing exciting to talk about when you talk about daylight saving times. And if you live in the state of Arizona, they don't even do it there. So there. By the way, I do have a cup of Reparations coffee here, so there you go. That's good. All right, what else is trending? Jaguar. Oh, did you hear about this? This woman attacked by a jaguar after jumping zoo barrier to get a photo. What a moron. A woman sustained non-life-threatening injuries resulting from a jaguar attack at the Wildlife World Zoo in Arizona. Speaking of Arizona, according to the zoo, she climbed over the barrier of the enclosure to take a photo of the animal. What are you doing? Are you kidding? Why would anyone do something so stupid? I know there's nothing. It's trending number 3, but I don't see any other articles on it. Here, in fact, okay, here we go. The zoo says the jaguar will not be punished or euthanized. Well, thank goodness. People are so stupid sometimes. They go and here's some actually video response video footage of her getting small. She climbed over a barrier and tried to get a selfie. With a freaking jaguar. You are a complete and other more. Thank God they're not going to put this animal down. Yeah, absolutely. Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. Good God, people. What are you thinking? So there she is. Oh, yeah, I'm hurt. Duh. We can promise you nothing will happen to our jaguar. She's a wild animal, and they were proper barriers in place to keep our guests safe. Not a wild animal's fault when barriers are crossed. Still sending prayers to her and her family. Yeah, well, you're an idiot. You're a complete and utter idiot. Now I just want to see what people are saying about it, because it's got to be... Karen intentionally went over to... More complete story. Karen intentionally went over a barrier to take a photo. Jaguar protected its area from a stranger. Zune sent thoughts and prayers to Karen. Okay. Yeah, wow. So this is... a lot of people talking about it. And there's the jaguar. No one's given her any love whatsoever, and they shouldn't. Holy shit. Jaguar is chilling according to the zoo. Well, there you go. The jaguar is kind enough to leave her alive. Yeah, wow. Well, good. No one. You know what? like I said, take stupid chances, win stupid prizes. Hang on a second here. I'm gonna go back here for a second because I want to check one other thing where we're at. So, by the way, who else showed up? Some other people showed up. By the way, thoughts from the dryer. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Diesel Dave, how you doing, man? You were asking about the stuff in the beginning. Yeah, that's just my when I'm prepping for the stream music. So there you go. All right, back into Twitter trends. Let's go here. What else is happening today? March 10 Day. What? Oh no, Mario Day. Oh, that's just weird how the way they did that. Trending with Mario Day. March 10 Day. Oh, I see. I'm like, what is that? So if you put on the word March 10, it spells Mario. So apparently that's the day dedicated to celebrating Nintendo's Mario. And it's trending. Hey, there you go. There's our dude, Mario. It's funny. So I'm old enough to remember when you played Donkey Kong at the roller skating rink. And it was a standalone game. And that's where Mario came from. That's the I think that's the original Mario. Then they came up with Mario Brothers and all the other stuff when Nintendo started making game consoles and shit. But I am a veteran of the original Donkey Kong. There you go. So enough about Mario. Let's see. Queers take over Twitter. Oh, great. Which is fine. I don't really care. I mean, but why? What? Car commercials are playing on my YouTube videos now. Oh, that was Shikama. Okay. Two lesbian icons. Yeah, I don't know that is Captain Marvel lesbian in the movie? I mean, is that a plot point or is that I don't know. Yeah, I miss the old pinball machines too. So last time I was in Omaha to visit my mother and my nephew, there is a really cool bar in Omaha that is basically a bar and a bank of all classic video games and pinball machines. So, for example, they've got the original Galaga machine, or I don't know how people say it. You know, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Space Invaders. What was the one where you shoot the rocks? I can't remember what that was called, but all those original games. And then like they have the original Kiss pinball machine. They have a few new machines, but it's just a place where you go in and it's all classic video games. And that place was packed with people. People were really asteroids. There you go. That place was packed and it was awesome. So, fun place to go. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, so queers take over Twitter. It seems to be a lot of women putting pictures of themselves. So I guess a lot of women call themselves queer now. So there you go. All right. Well, you know, to each your each, and more power to you. And great. Be proud of yourself. Yeah, it's a bar arcade. It's basically a arcade with a full bar and beer, and they had some pretty good appetizers there too. We were grubbing there, but really cool place. All right, so that's number 3 or 4. I don't know what I said. Some of their queers take over Twitter. Okay, Leno, which I was thinking maybe meant Jay Leno, but it's trending with something called Shaka, Lacazette, and Alba. So I'm gonna guess this is a Who wants to guess? Leno, something to do with boy band or a musician. Let's check it out. What is Leno? Ooh, I have no idea. Oh no, that's a player on Arsenal. All right. More soccer stuff. I'm passing. Sorry, Leno. Ethiopia Airlines. Oh man. Okay, an Ethiopian Airlines flight has crashed on the way to Nairobi, Kenya, with 149 passengers and 8 crew members on board. That's sad. No survivors. Here's the ABC News story. Let's see here. Ethiopian airplane lost contact 6
So
minutes
some
after
truck
takeoff on
drivers sometimes
Sunday.
I'm
Ethiopian Airlines with 157 people on board, including 8 Americans, crashed Sunday just minutes after taking off from Ethiopia's capital, according to the airline and reports. Everyone on board was presumed dead, Ethiopia Airlines said in a statement. The country's state broadcaster said all of the passengers perished in the crash, according to the Associated Press. At this time, search and rescue operations are in progress, and we have no confirmed information about survivors or any possible casualties, the airline said. So that's sad. It's funny because airline crashes, if you per mile, are exceedingly rare, but they happen and they're always big news. Um, apparently there were 8 Americans on the flight. There was 5 people from the Netherlands, 4 from India and Slovenia. So, and 32 Kenyans, 9 Ethiopians, 8 people from China and Italy, 7 passengers each from France, Britain, 6 from Egypt, and so on. And the U.S. Embassy said it was aware of the crash and released a statement before it was announced that there were victims from the United States. The embassy is working with the Ethiopian government to identify Americans who were on the flight, it said in a statement. Yeah, when I was in Africa, I flew it was some local airline because we were going from Lagos to Enugu, which is near a town 8 miles from where my father lives. And it was just weird. I was like, gosh, guys, there's so many little airlines all over the world that just fly you from different places, from local places, and you're like, I never heard of this airline. Should I be nervous? But again, airline travel, it's extremely rare for planes to crash, but you're always going to hear about them. It's that brings me to another point about news, because I got in an argument, not an argument, but there was a thing on Twitter the other day, and someone was talking about, how it was a discussion about how police officers shooting black men. And I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but the reason there's a perception that police officers are always killing black men, and because the person was saying, that's why so many, more black men than anybody else get killed, and that's actually factually false. There are more white people, I guess, so for any better term, killed by police officers, but it's there's a higher percentage of black people are, as far as per population, yes, but there's numerically there are far more, almost twice as many white people killed by police as black men, and the reason there is that perception is because every time someone black gets shot by police, it's made a big deal about in the news. You don't hear about it if a guy is doing something they're not supposed to be doing and they pull the gun on the cop and they get shot and they're white. You don't hear about it in the news because it's not made into a major event every time it happens, and it always is when it's someone black brought up. But anyway, Scribe is on. Hey, hi. Wait, what? Scribe is on? Take it easy, Peanut. What? I didn't know Scribe was on too. Like on, is he streaming right now? I do not know. Anyway, all right, back into trends. After that tangent, that was probably not very. And Shaka, that's another. Okay, so someone else made a goal. So a lot of these soccer players are trending on Twitter. So I'm going to try to go past them. Anyone know who John Moss is? It's Scribe. Well, thank you, Sean. I don't, I'm not competing with Scribe, and I'm not competing with any of these people. I just happened to wanted to do some random streaming today. So, Ethiopian John Moss. Who is John Moss? Okay. Apparently John Moss. Man, there are just seriously people talking about soccer today. John Moss is a referee that people are bitching about. Man, Okay, now what did Jean Pirro do wrong? She's trending number 16, and I'm sure this will rise. Fox News host Jeanine Pirro claims Ilhan Omar's hijab is indicative of her adherence to Sharia law. Okay, why is this news? Of course, this is News Week, so it's going to have a slant, but apparently that's wrong for her to say. Isn't that kind of isn't that kind of how things happen? I mean, it probably is. Isn't that I mean, Sharia law is okay, so let me Sharia law, okay, is just yes, there are problems as far as using Sharia law versus American law. But some of Sharia law is just how Muslims should live their life. And some of it is political. The hijab part of it is probably just part of like so for example, in the Episcopal and Catholic Church, part of Catholic law, so to speak, is that you genuflect before you go sit in the pew. Now, I don't really I don't give a shit about her job. I give a shit about what she tries to put into law in our country. And I don't, anyway, I'm going to read this article because obviously Newsweek felt this was important. Fox News host Jeanine Pirro suggested during her Saturday evening show, Justice with Judge Jeanine, that Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress, wears a hijab because of her adherence to Sharia law. I'm not sure why that's controversial. The remarks of the news anchor, who is an ally of President Donald Trump, okay, that's why it's a problem, and spoke at one of his political rallies last year, comes on the heels of Congress formally condemning anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and other forms of hatred after Omar made alleged no, they are anti-Semitic tropes that perhaps, well, anyway, I'm not going into it. Alleged anti-Semitic tropes for the second time since taking office in January. Yeah, it's not just the second time, but she keeps doing it. Your party is not anti-Israel. She is, Pirro said of the Democrats and Omar. Yeah, you know what? I'm that's probably factually true. Omar is anti-Israel and not necessarily the entire Democratic Party. So if it's rooted in the party, where is she getting? If it's not rooted in the party, where is she getting it from? Think about it. Omar wears hijab, which according to the Quran 33:59 tells women to cover so they won't get molested. Is her adherence to this Islamic doctrine indicative of her adherence to Sharia law, which in itself is antithetical to the United States Constitution? Okay, so I'm still trying to get is this a controversy that she said this? Pirro said more explicitly that she thinks this is Sharia adherent behavior and it is somewhat disturbing if she is someone who is Sharia compliant. Well, as long as she doesn't bring Islamic canon to the law she tries to make for the United States, whatever. And of course, now the next line in the Newsweek article, and I'm only going to read the first line because this is just funny to me. Omar has been a target for Republicans, many of whom have accused her of using alleged anti-Semitic tropes, such as suggesting American support for Israel represents dual loyalty and derives from pro-Israel lobbying groups buying the support of Congress. Okay, so yes, she did use that phrase, and that is considered an anti-Semitic trope by some. Does she have the right to say it? Yes, she does. Does she? Is she going to have consequences from certain segments of our society for saying that kind of thing? Yes, she will. I don't know, man. I just, okay. What are we at? The hijab is like the Mormons' magic underwear. Right. Okay. So anyway, oh God, I don't know. I always like to see what things people try to make bigger than they really are. You know what? Gene Pirro's right, and I don't know if there's a problem with that. That's part of her religion. I mean, Sharia law is just the laws of your religion, I would think. As long as she's not trying to, of course, it definitely shades the way she thinks about things. And of course yes, I'm going to say that she's said some anti-Semitic things. Absolutely has. And I'm pretty sure that she's, although she does try to say, oh, well, I have constituents who are Jewish and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I have black friends too, but whatever. Anyway, okay. Matic said to return more Arsenal. Gosh, there must be an Arsenal game going on right now. The Premier League is this Premier League championships right now or something? I don't know. Anyway, Big Ben is trending. Oh, let's see who's going to be pissed off about this. Oh, this is what? Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So, man running race dressed as Big Ben has absolute nightmare in the win with hilarious results. Here we go. This is going to be funny. Let's see. What about click for sound? We're going to listen to this. Hold on. Let's start this up. Where's the beginning? Right here. Yeah, that's the volume. Here we go. Hang on. All right. Let's watch this dude trying to run in a race as Big Ben. He's over here. Oh, they're pushing him. He can't run. The wind is killing him. These guys are trying to help him. Hilarity ensues. Wow, that's a windy day. I would hate trying to run on that day anyway. Okay. Wow, and this is actually trending. That Big Ben. Oh, now we're done with that. I don't want anything. Oh, this is the dude. Oh, did anyone see this the other day? So this dude is parasailing, and he's flying in, and watch what happens when he lands. This is actually, I saw this yesterday. This is actually pretty funny. He's parasailing in Australia. Check this out. Wait for it.
What's up, Skip?
Oh!
Go away!
The kangaroo tries to kick his ass.
Kangaroos.
I feel bad for the dude. I don't know what. It's funny. So yeah, apparently the kangaroo saw him coming down and came and started attacking him. But then they ran off, so that's cool. All right. So what I say punk like it's a bad thing. Oh, Sarah said something. What did Sarah say? Don't forget to like and share. Oh, you punks. Okay, that's funny. Anyway, so this dude got attacked by a kangaroo while he was parasailing. That's pretty funny. All right. Okay. What did Liz Cheney do? Okay. All right. So everyone's talking about Omar. We're going to get into that in a minute. Liz Cheney, Dems are enabling anti-Semitism. Representative Liz Cheney said in defense for his decision to vote against the anti-hate resolution passed by the House. Now, there were several Republicans who ended up voting against this resolution, and like I said, that's one thing I do want to talk about today. I want to see if the Hill has a place where I can link to the actual resolution. Representative Liz Cheney, Wyoming, is defending her decision to vote against the anti-hate resolution passed by the House last week. Cheney, the GOP conference chair, told host Chuck Todd on NBC's Meet the Press, or Meet the Depressed, that Democrats are now enabling anti-Semitism in their party. She said that while She saw nothing objectionable in the language of the resolution. It was an effort to protect Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar, Minnesota, against accusations of anti-Semitism. It was clearly an effort to protect Ilhan Omar, Cheney said, to cover up her bigotry and anti-Semitism by refusing to name her. Yeah, there was kind of a protest vote. The resolution, which passed 407 to 23 last Thursday, issued a broad condemnation of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and other forms of hatred. Yeah, it did, but it threw in the whole freaking kitchen sink and really detracted from what the reason they were bringing up this resolution. Now, I'm going to go back and say, I don't think they should have done a resolution. As reprehensible as some people think Ilhan Omar's statements were, she has the right to say them. I condemn her in the press, condemn her wherever. I can understand why they want to do a resolution saying that it's against anti-Semitism, but what they ended up doing was they really covered her up by the way they did it, and that's what people are pissed about, and that's why some people had a protest vote. Cheney's comments on Sunday echoed other Republican lawmakers who said that the resolution should have named Omar directly. Some have also called for the Minnesota lawmaker to be removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And their precedent for that is when Steve King made some dumbass remarks about not understanding what white nationalists were or why it's bad to be called a white nationalist. They removed him from all his committees as a punishment. So, and I don't know, but they didn't do a resolution for Steve King. They probably did. That's the Democrats control the House, but anyway. Omar's most recent comments about allegiance to Israel, which critics have said play into anti-Semitic tropes, have sparked tensions over alleged anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party. There's a few other people who have a little bit of a problem with that. I'm just saying. But you know what? Also, not agreeing with policies about Israel isn't necessarily anti-Semitism. I'm one of those pro-Israel people, but I don't have any problem with people who are critical of Israel for certain things. I just, I don't think it's, not necessarily a thing to write a resolution about. So anyway, okay, and then Cheney said Sunday the Democratic Party, which now controls the House, has a real problem. So, anyway, so people are talking about Liz Cheney. I'm sure there's going to be people, well, because she was on Meet the Press this morning. So, Joe Pollack, are you contending she had some other motive, Jake Sherman? Okay, so House Republican Conference Chair says a bill of that 173 of her GOP colleagues voted for. You know what? Yeah, people are trying to say that she voted against it because she's racist or whatever, anti-this and anti-that. Yeah, so anyway, it was a protest vote. But you know what? You vote against something that reads the way it does, you're going to get chastised for it. So that's Liz Cheney. DJ Laster, never heard of it. Okay, so this must be a Division II. Oh, no, Big South Championship. Gardner Webb upsets Radford. Oh, DJ Laster is a player for Gardner Webb. Led the way with 32 points. Never heard of the school, but apparently they're going to make it into the NCAA tournament. That's for the big schools. Tomlin. Which Tomlin? Mike Tomlin. Okay. Oh, something about the Steelers. We're not going to talk about the Steelers. Anything else interesting in Twitter trends? Boeing. Uh-oh. Is there problems with the Boeing 737 MAX? Is that the one? Let me guess. Is that the plane that, Ethiopian Air crash? You know what? So, again, as I said before, air travel per mile flown or per, number of flights is extremely, extremely safe. It's very rare for a plane to crash. But immediately after there's a crash, Now we have a problem. The New York Times. Are there problems with the 737 MAX? A second deadly crash raises new questions. Okay, so 2 of these planes have crashed. We don't know why they crashed. Could it have been a pilot error? It was a malfunction. Is it a maintenance problem? There's so many reasons why a plane could crash that have nothing to do with the plane itself. And it's okay, so when an airplane carrying at least 150 people crashed in Ethiopia on Sunday, killing all on board, it was the second time in less than 6 months that this particular plane model was involved in a catastrophic accident. The plane, a Boeing 737 MAX 8, was the same model that crashed in Indonesia in October, killing 109 people. In both cases, brand new planes faltered minutes after takeoff and plunged into a deadly descent, leaving no survivors. The investigation into both cases is continuing, but the latest crash renewed questions about the safety of the 737 MAX, which Boeing unveiled in 2017 and sold as a fuel-efficient, technologically advanced upgrade to its popular 737. Fast-selling plane in Boeing history, used by airlines around the world. So, I don't know. They don't even know. The plane just crashed in Ethiopia. What is known after the crash in Indonesia? It was too soon to tell on Sunday whether the causes of the Ethiopian Airlines crash were the same or similar to those of the Lion Air crash in Indonesia last year. But there are some initial similarities. On Sunday, the flight lost contact about 6 minutes after takeoff. The pilot had been given clearance to return to the airport in Addis Ababa, according to Ethiopian Airlines, which operated the flight. But the plane went down near Bishoftu, about 35 miles southeast of Addis Ababa. The crash last year also involved a plane that went down minutes after takeoff and after the crew requested permission to return to the airport. In that case, the investigations by Indonesian Airlines and American aviation authorities determined that the Lion Air plane's abrupt nosedive might have been caused by updated Boeing software that was meant to prevent a stall, but that can send the plane into a fatal descent if the altitude and angle information being fed into the computer systems is incorrect. So it could be an issue with the software. It could be an issue. So anyway, yeah, wow. So it who knows, but oftentimes it could be something the pilot did, or it is a newer plane though, so I guess they'll find out. So, Sarah, breaking news: another tape has been turned over to the Attorney General showing R. Kelly abusing another girl. Oh, good. Well, good gracious, not good. Good gracious. I'm sure he'll be. And R. Kelly's not trending yet. Interesting. I'm not gonna. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff down here. Emirates again. Straw police in California. I'll find that R. Kelly thing in a second here, but here's what's more important. Nunes warns of the straw police in California. Devin Nunes, Republican California, warned that of the straw police in California after a visit to a restaurant on Saturday. In a tweet, Nunes appeared to tie bans on single-use plastic straws to socialism in his state. Okay, I'm not a detractor nor a fan of Devin Nunes. I just think he tries to do his job. At a restaurant tonight, a waitress asks if we want straws. The lawmaker tweeted, says she has to ask now in fear of the straw police. Welcome to socialism in California. A new law took effect this year, barring restaurants in California from giving patrons plastic straws unless one is requested. The state is just one location among a number of other cities and businesses globally to cut back on the use of plastic in an effort to reduce ocean waste. Nunes' comment was mocked on social media. Well, of course it was, with many pushing back on his claim of socialism and other questioning whether the incident happened. Yeah, it's a stupid thing about saying something about socialism regarding straws, but also it's, I guess, questioning whether the incident happened. Of course it happened. You have to ask for a straw in California. Now, I personally, I don't know. 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 I rarely use a straw when I'm drinking a beverage in a restaurant, even if it's, a Coke or something. I will not use a straw. I take the straw out, put it aside, drink out of the glass. That's what glass is made for. I'm not, and plus it's just, me at 6'4", almost 300 pounds, sipping through a straw. Just, I don't know. There's something weird about it. But anyway, so people were mocking him. The key thing people fail to understand about these straw police is that beneath the uniform, they're just straw men. Isn't that cute? People are saying he made this up, but I'm 99% sure the server was just making a lighthearted joke, and this humorless plank took it seriously. No. You took his tweet too seriously. Okay? He just said what she said. At a restaurant tonight, waitress asked if she wants straws. She says she has to ask now in fear of the straw police. It's a joke. I'm sure he knew it was a joke. We gotta look out for the straw police, and so he just said, "Welcome to socialism, California." It's just that's a joke too. So if you got, he was just making a lighthearted joke, and this humorless plank took it seriously. Well, you are a humorous plank yourself, Jennifer. By the way, the official policy of the Morning Night Live and Sunday Night Live is please do not contact anybody we talk about in this stream. We ask that you not harass people, even if you want to look for them. Hi, Shia Grath, how you doing? Okay, I'll dig that one out, Sarah. Thank you for throwing that up here. And I think I'm done with Twitter trends because you know what? Unless there's something else absolutely exciting down at the bottom here, Bill Powers second serving. Oh, yeah, the second long. Oh, well, that's too bad. The University of Texas president, former University of Texas president, Bill Powers has died on Sunday at the age of 72. He was the second longest serving president in school history. And I have no relation to the University of Texas, but you know what? If he served that long, he must have been doing okay. So, all right. So, you know what? I was going to do some headlines, but Sarah sent me this, sent me this article. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not laughing because R. Kelly has been caught with another girl. But I am laughing because of the attorney involved. So, when R. Kelly was arrested, let me take a sip of coffee here. When R. Kelly was recently arrested, part of the evidence that we got for his shenanigans were tapes supplied by none other than Michael Avenatti of Stormy Daniels fame. Creepy porn lawyer. Okay. The current person supplying a tape, and here's the article. Attorney. Another tape appears to show R. Kelly with girls. Are you ready for this? Attorney Gloria Allred. If you're familiar with Gloria Allred, she is she's ambulance chaser extraordinaire. Now, granted, there have been cases where she has done good work protecting women, but she is the California version of Michael Avenatti. She is an attention-seeking. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, attorney Gloria Allred says a client has turned a tape over to law enforcement that appears to feature R&B singer R. Kelly sexually abusing girls. The client, Gary Dennis, said at a news conference in New York on Sunday that he doesn't know Kelly and doesn't know where the tape came from. He says he came across it while cleaning out a collection he had for years. Let me repeat that. That's an interesting line. He came across it while cleaning out a collection he had for years. Gary Dennis. Interesting. Kelly faces 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse in connection with 3 girls and 1 woman. He has denied any wrongdoing and pleaded not guilty after being charged last month. Yeah, we didn't spend a lot of time watching his interview with Gayle King, but that was fascinating too. And then we did watch the video of the 2 women that were accusing him, or not accusing him, his 2 girlfriends, saying that he isn't this terrible bad guy that everyone wants to make him out to be. But oh my goodness, that's interesting. Hey, by the way, I'm sure you all know this one by now, and I've got it. This is the Dawg Knight channel, so I'm going to do a Jussie update, and so all of you probably already knew, but Jussie Smollett update: Empire actor indicted on 16 felony counts by a grand jury. You probably all knew this already, but because that's what I talk about a lot, and this is the case I'm going to keep following, I should say. Cook County grand jury returned a 16-count indictment against Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Cook County State Attorney Office confirmed the indictment, which they said was returned by a grand jury on Thursday. Smollett was originally charged with 1 felony count of disorderly conduct for filing a false police report by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office February 20th. Now, there's a whole lot of people talking about this, obviously, and you've all heard it already. Any words on the feds getting... Well, they're still investigating the note. Now, this is a pretty long article. Is there anything else I want to talk about in this? And this is pretty much just kind of giving a timeline of what happened. He claimed to be a victim of vicious hate crime in the Streeterville neighborhood on January 29th. He said 2 men physically attacked him while yelling racist and homophobic slurs, threw chemical liquid on him, and looped a rope around his neck. Now, this is interesting because, so the grand jury returned 2 separate sets of charges. One of each lie Smollett allegedly told. Now, I have this up here. This is the actual indictment via the grand jury. So they've got 16 counts here. It's interesting how they did this. I mean, they basically took each interview and then charged him for every supposed lie. So, for example, so this one, let's see. In Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, so let's see. Hang on a second. To wit, Jussie Smollett reported in person that he was the victim of a battery, a hate crime, and an aggravated battery. Reported that on January 29th, 2019 at approximately 2 a.m. on the public way near 341 East Lower North Water Street in Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, 2 unknown males dressed in black, and one of whom wore a black mask, approached Jussie Smollett, called Jussie Smollett racial and homophobic slurs, and struck Jussie Smollett about the face with their hands, causing bodily harm to Jussie Smollett, and the 2 unknown males made physical contact of an insulting and provoking nature with Jussie Smollett, pouring an unknown chemical substance onto Jussie Smollett, and Jussie Smollett knew that at the time of this transmission, there was no reasonable ground for believing that such offenses had been committed. So what he did, and that they had no reasonable ground for believing that he knew that he was telling a lie, so to speak. So that's the first one, okay? And then on each one, they just add the wording. So what's new in this one? This one says the same thing. Okay, so... But they do this 16 times. And there are little differences in each one. But at least the first 3 here all say the same thing. So I'm not really sure what the differences are. But so there's 16 counts. Now, here's what's going to happen. And I actually had a video of Mark Garagos, his attorney, on CNN talking about how this is excessive. Well, let's do this. Let's go to Jesse Smollett Twitter, because there's a couple interesting things. There are people who are just pissed off that they have 16 counts against him. So here's the wrap. The fact of an indictment was not unexpected. We knew that there was no way they would expose their evidence to a public airing and subject their witnesses to cross-examination. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. The witnesses will be cross-examined when they get to court. But anyway, what is unexpected, however, is the prosecutorial overkill in charging 16 separate counts against Jesse. Well, that's what the grand jury did. That's not the attorney. That's not the attorneys. The grand jury did that. That's the other thing. People are mad about this 16 counts, but it wasn't Cook County that put this, did this indictment. The grand jury decided this. That means people in the grand jury are pissed off at this dude. Anyway, this redundant and vindictive indictment is nothing more than a desperate attempt to make headlines in order to distract from the internal investigation launched to investigate the outrageous leaking of false information by the Chicago Police Department and the shameless and illegal invasion of Jesse's privacy in tampering with his medical records. We'll get to that in a second. Jesse adamantly maintains his innocence, even if law enforcement has robbed him of that presumption. Wow. Well, he decided to put this out into public opinion by going on an interview and continually lying about it. So there's, let's see. Yeah. His lawyer, Smollett, suffering from a media gangbang of unprecedented proportions, says his lawyer. I'm not going to read the Zero Hedge article. Oh, here we go. This is the one. This is the article, or the interview with Mark Garagos. Let's find one that I can. Here we go. Right here. This is the
counts that he's now.
Hang on. Here we go. So let's watch this interview with Mark Garagos. It's only a few minutes long. So
what is your response to these 16 felony counts that he's now facing? And is this right, that it's basically one count for each alleged lie that he told?
Anderson, even if he were supposedly the one who had orchestrated this is an outrage. The fact that he maintains his innocence makes it even more outrageous. 16 counts.
Wait, now how does it? That is irrelevant. Even if he's maintaining his innocence, that's irrelevant to what the charges are. Of course, yeah, okay, you get charged something, you're maintaining your innocence. What does that have to do with anything? Why does that make it more outrageous? That's just stupid. Anyway.
Counts. I defy anybody to find any indictment anywhere where somebody has brought 16 counts for being a victim of a hate crime, basically.
Now, Anderson, actually, I remember watching this. Anderson actually asks a good question here, I think. Just a second.
The problem with this case, and it started with, almost immediately, is
they're not bringing
hold on
16
for one
counts.
second, Anderson, because you just put it.
Okay,
they're bringing 16 counts. They're bringing 16 counts because they parsed out two statements. I defy you to find something like that. He was not suspended. They have not talked to one person at Fox who has said he was dissatisfied with his money. They have not interviewed one person connected.
But they have interviewed a couple gentlemen who he's been associated with, right? They interviewed the two gentlemen from Nigeria, or not from Nigeria, the two Americans of Nigerian descent who did the plot with him. So who says that they didn't say that? Why did he do it? Oh, well, he wanted to make more money. I don't know. That's stupid.
With the show Empire, who says he was dissatisfied with his money. They have not. They are the ones who started their internal investigation about the leaks, because all of the information that was being leaked was false.
No, not all the information that was being leaked was false. Clearly, and in fact, if you were following Rob Elgas or the other guy from Fox 32 in Chicago, it's funny how accurate it actually was for the most part. There's very little that's been false.
And I wasn't at Northwestern Hospital. Northwestern Hospital is supposedly, if you believe the reporting, let go of 50 people because 50 people have illegally accessed his records.
And that has absolutely nothing to do with the case. Okay. Sure, there have been curious people in that hospital. They've been, I don't know, it's 50. They fired a bunch of people who just were improperly looking at his records. That's definitely a HIPAA violation. And so the hospital could be penalized heavily for that. But that's irrelevant to the guilt or innocence of Jussie Smollett. I didn't realize silly me. You probably want to see this on the screen rather than me looking at it. You can hear it, but here we go.
What is happening here is, frankly, a media gangbang of this guy.
Now that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, oh man, and look at how serious Anderson Cooper is. A media gangbang. I'm surprised I'm surprised there's not a few people of certain political and social commentary persuasion that aren't taking him to task for saying that, using that term, a media gangbang.
Of unprecedented proportions. And that's the reason I got into this. I've never seen a media pendulum swing more quickly and more viciously and rob somebody of their presumption of innocence like this case. It's startling the way people assume that he's guilty. He hasn't.
You know what, though? Oh, my God. And I think, well, looking at the other side of that, there was an unprecedented media just surge of people assuming that they were that this was all true and that there was it's some racist Trump supporters and yada yada yada. Fuck, I mean, so yeah, if you have such a visceral reaction throughout the media and throughout the Hollywood celebrities and all these people who are talking about it, then all of a sudden they're all find out that they probably have been duped. And after they think about it, they think about the story he told and how absolutely stupid it was. Just so unbelievable after they really think about it, and now they're finding out they look like idiots. Yeah, there's going to be a big turnaround in how people feel about this case. So there you go. How could I be so stupid to believe that bullshit? That's probably what they're thinking anyway.
Yeah. Given one stitch of discovery, not one.
Not one stitch of discovery. You know why? Because they just indicted him. You don't think there's... Oh, what is he asked? What's this bullshit thing here?
That he's guilty. He hasn't been given one stitch of discovery. Not one. There isn't one police report.
Guess what? You're his lawyer. That's your job. Go get the discovery.
Package just said he paid $3,500. I've got the texts. Those texts, and they conceded that the check and the texts were for training. It was.
Yeah, about that, they say, oh, the check said it was for training and whatever. So let's say you're a criminal and you're writing a check for the criminal act that you're about to do. Or let's say you're buying cocaine, for example. And you're buying cocaine and you decide you're going to write a check to somebody because you don't have any cash handy, and the cocaine dealer is going to take a check, amazingly. Would you write in the memo, here's the amount and here's the name, and in the memo you write, this is for blow? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, you got to try to write a check for something that sounds like it's plausible. So we're gonna find out. We'll find out soon enough.
Wasn't to pay anything, so I don't understand where any of this comes from. He's supposedly paid for it. He's the one who supposedly was dissatisfied. There's no evidence of that.
So you're saying the superintendent had talked about this theory that he wanted more money, he wasn't happy. You're saying they haven't talked to anybody associated with their production at all. So,
well, how would the people in the production know that? That's another stupid thing. Oh, they haven't talked. Nobody at Fox or anyone else said anything about him wanting more money. Is that who he would have been complaining to about it? You know, is that how he would have? You know, no. When I complain about not. Well, I don't have to complain because I make plenty of money at my work job, I guess, compared to whatever everyone else makes. I don't care. When you complain about you're not making enough money, do you complain? Do you constantly complain to your boss that you're disgruntled about it? Or what's the first person you complain to? You complain to the person next to you. Yeah, I don't make enough money here. And then, or you complain to your family. You know, this is stupid. Anyway, Garagos, what's going to happen? These 16 counts, because someone's saying, oh, he could be in jail for 48 years for this. That ain't never happening. 16 counts. They're going to plead most of it out. And he's probably, you know, the big fight is whether he's going to get out probation or if he's going to spend any time in jail. And my theory from the very beginning that they're going to catch him on this and he's still not going to spend any time in jail. He's not going to take any real hit for this. And at some point, he's still going to make more money in life. He'll sell his own damn story, if anything. So he's going to... he's gonna get probation. He's never gonna see jail time. I hope that the city of Chicago demands that he spend some time in jail, even if it's just 6 months. You know, put his ass in jail.
So, but I mean, does it make sense?
So,
to you?
Wouldn't you expect if a police chief? Hold on, Anderson. If a police chief is going to come out and say and give a press conference and is going to say he was dissatisfied and is going to basically taint the jury pool, wouldn't you expect that there would be some basis upon which you would do that? Wouldn't you expect one person would have been interviewed who actually knew something about this?
You know, it's a good question. And I wonder how much of that press conference with the chief of police and with the second press conference with the state's attorney is going to be brought up in an appeal, because they're going to try to appeal this. Garagos is a very he's a well-known defense attorney. He's good at his job. I think he was involved in the OJ trial or something. I can't remember, but he's you know, they're going to make this about race, and they're going to make it about everything except for about this guy lying.
Negotiating his salary, his agent, somebody on the set, so his producer, anybody? Wouldn't you expect that at the very least?
Yeah, he didn't let Cooper get it worded edgewise. Oh, did they actually? Did he? Oh, wow. Interesting. He was on with Adam Carolla. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's Rafer Weigel, who's the guy. He's one of the Chicago local, local reporters that we watched on this from Fox 32. I think, is that right? Fox 32. Yeah, Fox 32 in Chicago. Mr. Garagos accuses Chicago Police Department of, quote, leaking false information, end quote. So far, everything leaked to me and my colleagues was corroborated in Jussie Smollett's bond proffer. It may be proven untrue in a court of law, but it is premature to call it false when it's consistent with the evidence unveiled. Yeah, so there you go, Garagos. There was, the stuff that was leaked to local reporters, and everything that they leaked seemed to be true in the end. Now the things that were leaked or put out in the media that were false were the initial reports that Jussie Smollett talked about in the beginning, or the reports that he had broken rib, the the report that he was hospitalized, the report that, well, no one gave a shit if he fought back because it was bullshit anyway. But so anything that was false was usually stuff by Smollett's team in the beginning. So, yeah, facing 64 years. No, he's not facing 64 years. That's ridiculous. And that's just hyperbole. No one, everybody on the planet knows that Jussie Smollett is not going to spend 64 years in jail. But so here's the Twitter. This lady. They've been handling this Jussie Smollett case real fast. I think 64 years in jail is a little harsh. And when we have white women who've lied on black men about rape and they get no time, this is ridiculous. Oh my God. You knew that this kind of argument was coming. You just knew it. TMZ. Huh. Well, here's a good one. Jussie Smollett's job offers have dried up after alleged hoax. Jussie Smollett's career was going swimmingly on Empire, but like good scripts, there was a twist. Yeah, he created that twist. There's another dumb one that's down here. I gotta find it. Let's see. Why did I just see where that nigga Jussie Smollett said he was the Black Tupac? That's hilarious. Oh, this dude's funny. This was funny. Watch this.
What happened that night, Jussie?
Y'all bet not try it. I did not hire them brothers to jump me. It was cold out there in the street. Fought back by grabbing their cheeks. I can't deny it, I got excited when them Africans grabbed me. They were swollen over 6 feet. All I saw was fist and meats. I'm not a fighter or a gay liar, just an actor from TV. They use rope, some mask, and bleach. Like me, they thought shit was sweet. I am a rider, not the horse concert, talking about riding that deep. Not from France, but I like that we. Not to Raji, but I got the cookie.
All right, so that was cute. Anyway, Queen Latifah says she believes Jussie Smollett until she sees proof. Oh, there was one thread. It must have updated here, but there was one person who did this long thread about how this is how you treat the black man, and I just wanted to smack this person. You know, and see what the latest ones are. Smollett indicted on 16 counts by federal grand jury. That's Liberty Wire. Jussie Smollett cut from last 2 Empire episodes. That was from just a minute ago. Police say he staged the attack. Good for him. Proven negative for me, I know. Let's see. Let's see. Anyway. Oh, and then there's people complaining because when Riot Locked was in Brazil and they had something about him doing something wrong and they're trying to compare it. So here's one. If you want a case study on how black people are treated differently than white people in both our media and justice system, look no further than Ryan Locke versus Jussie Smollett. Well, you know what? Brazil dismissed the charges against Locke because his false claims were made to a broadcaster, not to police. There you go. He didn't lie to the police. Locke tried to fight hate crime at times where racial division is in an all-time high in the United States. Nope, he didn't. He was in Brazil, and he was trying to get out of something with the police, and he lied to the broadcasters. So he didn't lie to the police. There's your problem. There's the difference right away. But, of course, say it fucking louder. And Ryan Lochte pulled his fucking stunt in a whole ass another country too. White privilege is wild, man. Let's not forget Locke's whiteness got him on a dancing show too. Don't get me wrong. Jussie Smollett is still a dumbass. Yeah, he is a dumbass. Stop making... God damn, people piss me off. Anyway, the Empire said has been left deeply divided by the Jussie Smollett scandal between people who continue to support the embattled black actor despite his arrest, and people who are furious with him. The Chicago police explained how he put the hoax together, but he still gets support. Yeah, so there you go. I'll find that one thread Monday, because I could be doing this all day, just reading through the whatever I'm talking about here. Blah 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 blah. All right, so what else is going on today? Oh, I was going to do some headlines that I missed from Monday. So let's see. This is back on Twitter. Okay, so anything new in here? No. All right, back. So there's a couple headlines from Friday that I wanted to go through. Let's take a check on one of my favorites blogs, the Ace of Spades, and it was update on the hang on. There's a little update on the Berkeley attack, the guy that was attacked at, oh shit, what did I do here? Sorry guys, I messed up. Now I lost it. Doggone it. It's because I didn't right click instead of left click. All right. Give me one moment as I have my, okay, remember we always said we occasionally have a boomer moment, and this was it. All right, there we go. I'm back on it. All right, so about that little attack in Berkeley. Okay, hang on a second here. Wait, is this Fridays? What happened to it? Oh, here we go. 3-7. Okay. Oh, this is a different one. Okay, so this is the one I meant to do. Apparently, we've been talking a lot about hate crimes and whether they're real or fake and all that kind of stuff. And apparently, man in MAGA hat mobbed has hat stolen at Stephen Clark protests. As Stephen Clark protests spirals out of control in Sacramento. So more than 80 demonstrators were arrested in Sacramento on Monday night after protests against the district attorney's decision not to charge police officers who shot an unarmed black man last year spun out of control. Agitators reportedly blocked the streets as they chanted for justice, keyed cars, and yelled at residents in their homes. At one point, a man who came to the rally wearing a Make America Great Again hat and his daughter were mobbed by protesters, and his hat was stolen off his head, video footage shows. The man told a reporter for the Sacramento Bee that he came to the rally in the MAGA hat to see what would happen, and he found out. In March 2018, 22-year-old Stephen Clark was shot to death by 2 police officers in circumstances that were in every way terse, tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving. All right, now, one thing that I normally don't do when I'm online or streaming is I don't take calls, but this is my daughter. So we're going to take just a little break here. Give me one moment, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we're back. Just real quick, we're gonna finish here because I have this wasn't my daughter; it was actually my wife. So we're gonna have to we're gonna have to shorten this up. So anyway, they had a video of this. Apparently it didn't come through, but anyway, so yeah, so people just those people in MAGA hats are getting attacked. The Stephen Clark thing. So that story was the guy who was. He was he was damaging cars. He was breaking into cars. So people reported him. The police came and he was breaking out windows. So he started running through some backyards. And he finally got to the backyard of his grandmother, and they couldn't see him, and he had a phone, and they saw a flash from a distance. It was dark, and the police shot him in the line of duty of chasing a suspect. The grand jury, or excuse me, the attorney of Sacramento, after a year of investigation, decided not to press charges. And so it's just another one of those cases where people are... people are up in arms, and I get it. But, a good way to not, this sounds so callous of me, but I'm going to say it anyway. A good way to not get shot by police is to cooperate with police when they are telling you to do something, and then you can sort out whether or not it was a bad idea or not later. I know there are cases where there are absolutely cases where police shot when they should not have, and there's some police in jail right now that shouldn't have shot when they shot when they should not have. But in the broad scheme of all the police interactions throughout the country, is it an epidemic? And I think the only reason you can say that it's an epidemic is because we hear about every single case when there are certain demographics involved in a police shooting. You hear about, if it's a white officer and a black man, you are always going to hear about that case. The numerical facts are a little different. And then also in the scheme of things of police shootings, regardless of race, versus the overall homicides, assaults, or of any kind, the number of police shootings are such a minuscule portion of all those things. And again, regardless of race, when you actually think about it, and in the number of police shootings compared to the number of homicides in the United States, minuscule. And then also, really, the number of homicides just compared to police interactions, or not police interactions, just general population is very small, but it's a bad thing. Yeah, yes, there are problems, and there's several major cities that have major problems with homicides. But even then, you think of it as the problem versus the larger scale of the number of people in those cities and things like that. Yes, homicides are bad, obviously. But a lot of this stuff gets just blown out of proportion and gets, there are categories that are way blown out of proportion. And for the most part, I think police officers do their best, are not racist. They're not shooting people because of the color of their skin. They're shooting people because of, again, do stupid things, win stupid prizes is the same thing. So on that note, I was going to go a little longer and do a few more headlines, but apparently I need to go help find my daughter a microwave, according to my wife. So I'm going to end the stream. But hey, those of you who dropped in this afternoon on a rare Sunday afternoon stream, I want to thank you so much for being here. My name is Dawg Knight. I got to get out of here, so I'm going to go. You guys have a lovely day, and we'll see you later. Bye.